This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Hey, yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay, hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into a new episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. What is going on, everybody? Appreciate you for joining in. Currently, right now, we got two people in the chat. We got Pete, we got Jack up in the house. Appreciate y'all for being here. We're going to have a good, fun-filled show today. Today, we're going to mainly focus on, obviously, preparing for the Buffalo Bills, which is going to be Week 1's opponent versus the Arizona Cardinals. And, man, do we have a juggernaut to start off the season. And not just that. We got the Buffalo Bills, we got the Rams that we can never seem to beat, and then also we got the Lions Week 3. So we got a hefty schedule coming our way, but man, as Cardinal fans, I think you can kind of reciprocate that we're super excited, right? Brand new season, a new sense of hope is in the air, and I am just so darn excited that currently right now we're less than 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks away from the start of Week 1 preseason. We can see Kyler Murray throw the ball. We can see Marvin Harrison Jr. get with it. I'm just so excited. Do me a huge favor. Smack up the like button on your way in. Huge shout out here to BetUS, which is the sponsor of the Arizona Sports Fan here on YouTube throughout the entirety of the season. If you're looking for a brand new sportsbook, BetUS is the way to go. Currently right now, they do have a sign-up bonus, 125% sign-up bonus, up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. The link will be in the description below if you do want to go ahead and get some sort of, jump on some sort of bet, some sort of props. Currently right now, they do actually have, some sort of props currently going on right now. I think the last one I saw was the Cardinals weren't going to win more than 6.5, right? So if you want to go and do that, the link's in the description below. And the proud sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the regular season. So I'm super, super excited. So let's get started here. We're going to be diving into, obviously, a lot of what Jonathan Ganon had to say today, and obviously reacting to that, and kind of just going back and forth. This is the time where it's just waiting, right? It's the calm before the storm right now. And we're just waiting for Week 1 to kind of get here, and it can't get here fast enough. It can't get here fast enough. So let's dive into it. We did hear Jonathan Ganon talk to the media today, and we're going to be obviously diving into what he said, how you guys feel about it, and just kind of at the end of the day, try to have a good show for you guys. So let's go and get started here. Let's dive into what Jonathan Ganon had to say to the media today. Now, this first question was, how do you feel, like, is Week 1 an indication of what this Arizona Cardinal team is going to look like moving forward, right? And this is what Jonathan Ganon had to say.
Believer that Week 1 can kind of show you where a team's at.
No, I think it just shows you, did you do enough to win the game or not, you know? I see where you're going with the question, Josh. What I do kind of believe is, and this, I've gotten this from mentors of mine, like the first, you know, you used to be able to split it up into quarters, you know, now it's not. But if you kind of look at the month of September, I think you got that there is a feeling out and a learning process about your team, and the other 31 teams are doing that as well, you know, because you got new people, whether you played your starters or not, you know, who's having these roles, what does that look like? I don't think we'll know our true identity for a little bit of time, you know what I mean? With saying that, we got to do enough to put ourselves in position to win those 4 games, you know, through the first part of the season there. But there's a growth and a learning that needs to continually happen as you get going on in the season, you know, because it is a long season. And do I know who we are right now going to Buffalo? I have a good idea, but I don't know for sure, you know what I mean? So, and we need to see that play out in front of us, you know. But you know, every second counts right now. So
Indeed. Indeed. Every second counts. Indeed. So I guess it's a response to it. I guess the biggest takeaways that I have about that specific clip, when it comes down to obviously Jonathan Gannon talking to the media, if week 1 is going to be a reflection of what this team is going to look like. Now, obviously, if the Cardinals start off 0-1, we still have more weeks to recover, right? Now, obviously, if we start out 0-2 and then 0-3, then it's going to be kind of a harder hill to climb out of at the end of the day. But I think what Jonathan Gannon is saying is because we do have a new team, right? New players. We're implementing a lot more of year 2 of Drew Pett, seeing what this offense is going to look like. And the same thing with the defense, right? Because whether you want to call it or not, last year's team, although there was some remaining pieces that came in, there wasn't a lot of healthy pieces heading into the regular season. And as most people said, like, we weren't going to win more than 1 or 2 games, right? Now, the Cardinals ended up winning 4 games with Kyler Murray winning 3 of those games. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know. Like, you can kind of take this how you will, but I have no problem with the way that he answered it. I mean, I at least hope he's kind of lying to the media in a sense, because I've been preaching that the Arizona Cardinals were going to be, their identity was going to be run heavy, right? At least that's what I got, right? That it was going to be a run heavy team. Now, I'm not sitting here saying they're going to run the ball 75% of the time. No, I don't think that's the case. But I think that the run is going to favor passing the ball, right? Now, obviously, the flow of the game is going to dictate how the rest of the play calls go, and that's just kind of is, right? It's just like chess, right? If they move the pawn or if they move the knight, you're going to move this, right? Just really depending on what they do is going to be what you're going to decide to do. So I'm hoping that Jonathan Gannon obviously is kind of giving a little bit of a fib in terms of we don't 100% know what our identity is. Now, he's got a good feel of what the identity is, but he doesn't have the saying, this is what we're going to look like, right? I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a little concerning, but there's a little bit of concern because I also don't want to be, I don't want this organization to be treated as a let's wing it, right? And I kind of felt like with the last regime, that's what we were. We were treating it like that, right? Now, obviously, we saw the progressions of what we did from year 1 of Cliff Kingsbury to year 2 of Cliff Kingsbury to year 3. Then obviously the downfall of Cliff Kingsbury's, the experiment and how it just kind of went sideways for the Cardinals. I hope that doesn't happen here. Now, I've been very, very high on Jonathan Gannon, just the way he speaks to the media, just the way he actually commands in offense, commands the room. Seems like he has respect. A lot of players love playing for him, right? And you could tell by last year. But the difference between last year to this year is the fact that the Cardinals are not so much in a we need to win the Super Bowl or it's over. No, but you need to see the right progressions, right? You need to see the things that we learned from last year to this year to really get a good sense of, is this the right direction for the Cardinals, right? Because you heard it, right? You heard it from Jonathan Gannon, and I think sometimes people kind of get it, mixed up where these decisions are being made, obviously, with people that are and much smarter capacities in the football realm than a podcaster, than the average fan, right? A guy that is around the Arizona Cardinals, the team, a lot more than we are. We do have to kind of get a level of a sense of, believing in what he's saying. But what I'm hearing with Jonathan Gannon is the fact that, like, we don't 100% know exactly what this team is going to look like until, he mentioned usually it took a quarter, but I believe with the extra game, you can't really look at it as a quarter anymore. But you're going to get it in the game, right? I hope we're a run-heavy team because I've been preaching so much that we're going to be a run-heavy team, even if it's 50% or 55%, right? If it's 55 to 45%, I think that will absolutely benefit Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray doesn't need to play Superman all the time. We've lived in a world, we lived in a system where Kyler Murray was so dependent on you are that darn good, win is the game. And we've seen Kyler Murray come out and do it, right? But it comes with a level of stress because he takes one big hit and he could be done for the season. And we don't want that, right? So I love the idea that this Arizona Cardinals organization is taking a approach of running is very, very important, right? We got to run the ball down the throat. We got to dictate the game on our time, and I absolutely love it. Or at least that's what I've been hearing from this Arizona Cardinals organization / Drew Pett since last year. Now, we couldn't really implement that last year because last year was last year, right? We didn't have a lot of talent. All we were saying was we were playing hard, but this year is different. We need to see the progressions. I don't think I'm going to be leaning on moral victories anymore. Now, if this is a sense where the Cardinals lose against the Buffalo Bills, but we're in that game, I see that as a win. I really do. Now, I get it. I just said I'm not taking moral victories, but this is week 1, right? Where the Cardinals feel like a brand new team, right? The Cardinals offense feels like a brand new team because we actually have Kyler Murray healthy from the jump of the season. So for this week, if the Cardinals lose, will I be bummed out? Oh, I'm sorry, not this week, but week 1, if the Cardinals lose, but they're in that game and they lose by a touchdown, they lose by a field goal, then I can go ahead and leave that game with my head held up high and say, I'm very, very confident in the 2024 Arizona Cardinals. But if it goes opposite and it goes sideways, and we're looking at when we started 2022 versus the Chiefs and we get absolutely demolished, then obviously, I probably would panic. A lot of people in the chat would say, it's just week 1, but it's just an indication of you weren't prepared, right? You weren't prepared. Now, we're going to be diving into, the media also asked Jonathan Gannon about what was, I guess, the main reason why we didn't play our starters in preseason, because the Bills played their starters in preseason. Now, can that come back and bite the Cardinals in the butt at the end of the day? We'll see, right? This is what Jonathan Gannon had to say about not starting the starters in preseason.
That you have that feeling out process, is that a big reason why you decided to not go start as
One of, you know what I mean? There's all kinds of reasons that go into that. None of them are right or wrong. It's just kind of what we decided. Everybody does it different ways. And guys, just how I am, like that might not be the case next year. You know what I mean? Or even if we have 3 games or 2 games, like you continually, try to adapt and adjust what's best for the team at hand. And that's the decision I made this year. Not to say that next year it doesn't look significantly different. You know what I mean? I know it looked a little different from the first year, and there was reasons for that. So, but my job is, because you guys will say, oh, well, we weren't ready to play. We got to be ready to play and execute at a high level, But the pros and the cons of how we did things, this is the way that I wanted to go.
I love the accountability. I'm just going to come out here and say that, right? I love the accountability that Jonathan Gannon, whenever anything goes wrong, it's on him, right? It's on him. After him, it's on the coaching staff. He never comes out and saying, this is on Kyler, this is on so-and-so, right? It's always on Jonathan Gannon. And then after him, it's the coaching staff, right? And they need to come together and they need to fix it. That's always what Jonathan Gannon has been saying since last year to, bleeding into this year as well. And I love it. I love the accountability. Now, I know there was some Cardinal fans out there that were upset with the idea of the Cardinals not even playing a drive or 2 in the game 1 or game 2 of preseason for our starters to actually have some sort of, I guess, rhythm flow, because I'm not going to lie to you, I do think preseason is probably the best way for you to get a game time real experience, right? Preseason is as good as it gets. I get why we didn't. Now, it's probably because obviously injuries was a big, maybe focal point as to we're not trying to get anybody injured. And obviously these are meaningless games, but I do think that not having the Cardinals play in preseason, even if it was just a drive or 2, is going to somehow affect the Cardinals. Because we are still such a new team when it comes down to this new offense. Now, if they come out here and actually guns a-blazing and they actually do look really, really good, then hey, fantastic, right? That's exactly what I love to see. But I mean, I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of Arizona Cardinals football year in and year out, and I know that they go through growing pains, at least the offensive side of the ball. Now, we're really, really expecting our offense to show greatness, especially with Marvin Harrison Jr. We've heard a lot of people come out and say that they expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to put up big numbers. And we're talking about big NFL minds out there, right? Like these big analysts coming out here saying, do you think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a rookie, or do you think he's going to come in here and have 800 plus receiving yards? And a lot of people saying, yeah, I think he's going to make an immediate impact for the 2024 Arizona Cardinals offense. And I kind of feel the same way. I think that the Cardinals have longed for a wide receiver 1 to play with their QB1 these days, right? Now, obviously we had Larry Fitzgerald, but when Larry Fitzgerald was towards the end of his career, although he was still putting up numbers, he wasn't, what we all hoping that Marvin Harrison Jr. is now, right? He wasn't 2000s, right? Early 2000s Larry Fitzgerald, or even, 2010s Larry Fitzgerald. He was a guy that was putting up numbers, moved to the slot under the BA regime, still putting up numbers, but he wasn't that guy that we're hoping that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to translate to. So I don't know. We're really holding our hopes and prayers that this offense can get going. And obviously starting with the run game, because if our run game gets going, I think that the Cardinals can be a very dominant team, because James Conner is probably one of the best running backs in NFL. Like, if you want to lie to yourself and say he's not, then okay, you can lie to yourself and say he's not, but he is, right? He runs so darn hard. He's really, really good. And he knows what hole and to burst, right? He's good. He's a good running back. Biggest problem with James Conner is just his health, right? Can he stay healthy? Now, I know we have an insurance plan, right? We have a backup plan, but I don't want James Conner to go down. Obviously, he is our lead horse, our lead back. He's going to be the guy that's going to be giving us the nasty, ugly yards. And our offense is going to run very, very smoothly with that run game, and James Conner being that main guy back there. Obviously, I want to see some Trey Benson as well, but that is when James Conner needs to sit and obviously take a sip of water or catch his breath, right? That's what I'm kind of looking for, but we are all expecting this offense to really, really outshine, and I do too. The defense, on the other hand, and I know I've seen a lot of comments out there saying, well, you're projecting, right? You're projecting of what you've seen last year, although the Arizona Cardinals have upgraded from last year to this year, although you are right? Although you're right, I don't think the Arizona Cardinals made any moves that were, I guess, to the point where I can say I feel super confident, right? I feel super confident in the defense. Now, obviously, I'm going to support the defense. Obviously, I want Zaven Collins to have multiples, double-digit sacks. Dennis Gardeck have double-digit sacks, right? I want the interior pressure with Bilal Nichols as well as Justin Jones to absolutely wreak havoc. Obviously, right? I'm a Cardinal fan. That's what I want. But the only part of this defense that I feel actually confident in terms of, man, I will go with this position to any game, and I feel confident, is probably the safeties with Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker, as well as our inside linebackers with Kazir White and Mac Wilson Sr. Now, I think I'm putting the inside linebackers because I have a lot of faith that Kazir White can lock down that middle, right? I think we've seen enough from Kazir White to say that guy plays so darn physical. Even if Mac Wilson Sr. needs a week or 2 or 3 to adjust to what this defense is, Kazir White's going to hold it down because I believe in him so darn much. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be a very, very good player on the middle. So those are the only parts I really feel confident on this defense. There's a lot of unknowns in the cornerback realm. We have a lot of youth, right? Now, Sean Murphy-Bunting being CB1, I'm confident, right? Now, we need to see the next step of development from Garrett Williams, and we need to see it from Max Melton. Max Melton was a second-round pick. He's going to get thrown into the fire. He's either going to get burnt like toast, or he's going to learn really, really quickly. I think there is going to be an adjustment period with Max Melton, but we're going to be playing some really good wide receivers. I don't think y'all understand. Some really good wide receivers in week 2 and week 3. Now, the Buffalo Bills, they got a lot of question marks over there. They got a lot of questions. They've lost a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of people say they don't have a wide receiver anymore. They got a young guy in Keon Coleman. Is he going to shake up? Is their second-year tight end Kincaid going to wreak havoc? Is their running back James Cook going to go off? We don't know, right? There's a lot of unknown. What we do know is that quarterback is really, really good, and some might say elite when it comes down to Josh Allen. So I'm just curious, right? They did play in preseason. Cardinals didn't. We did play, obviously a joint practice. It sounded like from the outside that it really wasn't great on the defensive side of the ball when it comes down to covering their guys in the Colts joint practice. But we also did hear the opposite with the offense, and the offense looked good, right? So that's where I'm coming from when I'm saying the confident level for the offense. Kyler said it. He puts no cap. He puts no limits on this offense. And I believe him. I think we got the tools. I think we got the intangibles to be a really good offense. The defense is what really, really scares me. So let's jump into adjustments. We've all talked about adjustments before in the last regime, saying the last regime did never adjusted, right? So, of course, a great question was asked to Jonathan Ganon today about adjustments. How do you see adjustments happen? Is it on the fly? Do you wait till halftime? Do you wait to the end of the game and try to fix it in the next game? And this is what Jonathan Gannon had to say.
Adjustments you have to adapt on game day. How much of it's in real time and how much of it is in halftime? And kind of how...
No, I think I always said, if you wait till halftime, you're late. You better, if you see something that needs to be adjusted, you do it. You know what I mean? There's no waiting to halftime. The whole halftime adjustment thing, yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of times it comes down to executing fundamentals and technique and being emotionally stable.
Okay. On the fly. On the fly. I love it. I love it. I mean, this coaching staff has prided themselves on the thought of we are going to adjust to the opponent we have, right? So let's see. This is the first year that the Cardinal fans have some sort of expectation. Expectation, at least if you ask a guy that's following the Cardinals verbatim, like we do on this channel, right? We're not saying Super Bowl. No. We know we're not there, right? We know we're not a Super Bowl team. We know we're probably 4 or 5 pieces away, right? And I'm talking about maybe either depth or a starter to say, man, that guy is a lockdown corner. Man, that guy is a interior, guy that causes pressure all the time, right? I feel like we're definitely missing some pieces to get to that level. Obviously, I think we can all agree to that. But I do think that the next step of the Arizona Cardinals from the 4 wins that we had in the first year of Jonathan Gannon is a potentially 7, 8 wins. Now, with Kyler Murray at the helm, I don't know. Call me blindly optimistic, call me crazy, but I think having Kyler Murray is such a difference maker that the Cardinals are going to win more games than people think. I truly do. Buffalo is a very, very good team. One of the biggest reasons why Buffalo is a very good team is because of Josh Allen. But Josh Allen doesn't have a lot of weapons currently right now. In terms of wide receivers, I apologize. In terms of wide receivers. Now, we've seen Patrick Mahomes play with arguably one of the worst wide receiving cores, right? We've seen that just this last year. And obviously, Patrick Mahomes is a different breed than Josh Allen. We know that. They're different play styles. One of them is more of a, let me throw the ball deep down the field, let me run the ball, and, let me do my thing because he's a big dude. While Patrick Mahomes is more surgical. Right now, the wide receiving core for the Buffalo Bills stands as this. Shakur, Keon Coleman, and Curtis Samuel. Those are 1, 2, 3 for the Buffalo Bills. They no longer have Diggs. Obviously, Diggs has now found himself with the Texans now, so hopefully good things for him in his endeavors. He's in the AFC, so it doesn't bug us very much. But that wide receiving core doesn't give me the scares, right? It doesn't give me the shakes. It doesn't give me like, oh my God, I need to fear what Shakur is going to do, right? Khalil Shakur, right? Where I'm at. Curtis Samuel, on the other hand, I do think he's a very, very good wide receiver. I do think he is. He's probably their best wide receiver on paper. Now, we don't know what Keon Coleman's going to be, right? Such high praises for him, the young rookie. He had a lot of really good moments when it came down to the whole, his press conference made a lot of people over there very, very happy. He's got a jacket and, so-and-so, right? Personality, great. We just don't know who he's going to translate in the field. I think their best wide receiver is probably Curtis Samuel. A really, really good wide receiver. Running back one for them, James Cook. James Cook is a good running back. I think James Conner's a better running back, personally. Dalton Kincaid, their tight end. I mean, got potential, right? I think I have more high praises for Trey McBride, personally. Call it a little biased. Yeah, maybe. Their offensive line is not the greatest. They lost a lot of defensive pieces. Matt Milano, which is probably one of the guy in the staple point in their middle of their defense, is done for the season. Unfortunately for them. They do got some pass rushers that are a little scary. I'm not going to lie. On their defensive side, they got some pass rushers. AJ Epinesa, Ed Oliver. We'll see if Von Miller has a comeback season again. Greg Russo. They got some nasty guys that can get to the quarterback for sure on the outside. Their offense, on the other hand, I feel like it's. I'll take that over the Rams. I'll take that over the Lions. Truly. I'm not sitting here on my high horse saying the Arizona Cardinals are going to absolutely whip the Bills. I don't know that, right? And obviously, per Jonathan Gannon and what he said in this press conference, I don't think he even knows that either. We're going into this game with the ability to adjust on the fly, and we're putting our best 53 against their best 53. Or, I guess, technically, our best 11 against their best 11, right? Can Kyler Murray come out and prove that he has something to prove. And boy, does he. Boy, does he. I don't know if you guys heard any of these clips from these big national medias that's been coming out here. One of them was from CBS. Some sports book guy yelling at the top of his lungs saying that the Cardinals need to win. I believe it was over 6.5 or 7.5. And he was not saying good things about the Cardinals, saying that Kyler Murray was not good. He plays video games. There's a reason why the Cardinals, put that homework addendum on there. It's just all these old narratives that you heard 2 years ago, right? That's what he was bringing up. That the Cardinals will not even sniff 3 wins. Also, not even sniff 3 or 4 wins when the line was 6.5 or 7.5. He was just saying, he was talking crazy. And then there was another podcast here with, Kay Adams. I believe Colt McCoy was on there. And she actually asked them with a serious face, who would you draft, Jaden Daniels or Kyler Murray? What? Who would you draft, Kyler Murray or Jaden Daniels? It's absolutely bonkers. It's bonkers to think we're living in a world right now where that's actually even a question. We're talking about Jaden Daniels, rookie with Cliff Kingsbury. We know a little bit about that. But we're talking about a rookie compared to a guy that we know can win in the NFL. So the disrespect is at an all-time high. It will continue to be at an all-time high if he doesn't win. And that's why it's a big, big importance that the Arizona Cardinals win. I'm not saying the Super Bowl. Let's get it clear. Not saying the Super Bowl, but it's very important to take that extra step. And that extra step is 7, 8, 9 wins, wherever you see fit. 9 wins will obviously be ideal. The Cardinals need to take that extra step. They do. They absolutely do. Year 2 of rebuild, Mike. People tell me all the time, it doesn't matter. They need a win. The year of moral victories is over. Jonathan Gannon wants to win. Kyler Murray wants to win. James Conner wants to win. Budda Baker wants to win. Everybody in this locker room that has some sort of voice, that's a leader in any sense of the imagination, wants to win. And so do fans. So do fans. This is the time where you can come out and prove what your worth is. This is the time right here. Week 1 versus Buffalo. Imagine you come in here and you punch them in the mouth. Imagine they come out here just like that one year we played against, what was it? I believe it was 2021 when we started the year against Tennessee. That one year we started against Tennessee. And nobody gave us anything. Nobody did. Everybody said that King Henry was going to absolutely cook us. Absolutely cook us. Cardinals came out there, punched him in the mouth, and absolutely destroyed the Tennessee Titans. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a competitive team that's going to be able to stand up against the Buffalo Bills. I have faith that they're going to be coming in here prepared. Absolutely. Punch him in the mouth. Start off the season hot. Even if it's not 1-0. But it's a very, very close game. That's what I'm looking forward to going versus the Rams. Going against the Lions. Because boy, do we need it. Boy, do we need it. Let's see here. Let's take it to the comments. We got Blazing over here saying Henry's over. I think Henry's actually gonna have a really good year. I really do. I think Henry's with the Baltimore Ravens. I think Henry's gonna have a really good year. I'm being 100%. I think he's gonna have a really good year as long as he can stay healthy. Let's go with Uncanny. Uncanny says, love to see offense potential. Please make a trade. Well, Uncanny, would I love the Arizona Cardinals to make a trade too? Absolutely. Of course, right? Of course. The Cleveland Browns, right now, I guess a lot of Cardinal fans have their eyes on the Cleveland Browns just released Tyler Huntley. Will the Cardinals make a move? It's a big question, right? We all got our eyes on that. We'll see. We'll see. We got David in the chat saying no playoffs this year. Sorry, guys. Well, I mean, here's the thing, David, right? And I'm not sure if you're a Cardinal fan or you're coming in here just trolling. Whatever you're coming in here as, welcome. I appreciate you for being here in the stream and take some time and obviously chopping it up here in the chat. But if this is truly the narrative out there, and if you are a Cardinal fan, I don't blame you for feeling the way that you feel. I really don't. I'm not going to come out here and say you and try to take away your Cardinal fandom card, because that's not my job to do. That's your call. The Cardinals need to come out here and prove it. That's what they need to do. Cardinal fans that don't believe, other fandoms that don't believe, they need to come out here in week 1 and actually prove it. Let's take a quick break here from our sponsor of the video here, BetUS. Let's go ahead and give a huge shout out here to BetUS. Let's take a quick commercial break.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
Appreciate you, Michael Vick. Thank you so very much for the shout out here. If you're looking for a brand new sportsbook, BetUS is the way to go. Link is going to be in the description below. Right now, they got a lot of crazy things. Of course, our Arizona Cardinals are underdogs. Link is going to be in the description below. They do have a sign-up bonus right now for 125% sign-up bonus, up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. So there's that. Let's continue with the comments here. Let's go with Alex. What's up, brother? Appreciate you for being on the stream. He says, bruh, I don't know, Mike. If anyone could make Buffalo rookies / young wide receivers look like Tyreek Hill's our secondary, I'm very nervous. Here it is. I don't feel you. I don't blame you for feeling. Here's the thing. I'm not worried about our secondary. I'm going to be 110% honest with you. I'm not worried about our secondary. I'm worried about our pressure. That's what I'm more worried about, is can we cause pressure to the opposing quarterback? No, obviously secondary is important, right? Secondary. We got a lot of young people back there. A lot of young people. Garrett Williams coming into his second year. Max Melton. And we've heard all the criticism when it comes down to Sean Murphy-Bunting, right? We heard it from the Titans fans. We heard it a little bit from the Tampa Bay fans, right? There is a little level of worriness when it comes down to our secondary. One thing that I actually fear more is our defensive line. Can we cause pressure, right? Darius Robinson is done for at least 4 games, moved to IR. Cardinals still haven't really put a true edge rusher out there for the Cardinals defense. They still haven't. Is that because they truly believe in Xavier Thomas's potential? Is that because they want to use Mac Wilson Sr. as potentially a pass rusher? We don't know, right? A lot of unknowns. A lot of unknowns. I'm a little bit more worried about our defensive line, because the 2 big acquisitions from the Cardinals this offseason, Bilal Nichols as well as Justin Jones, they're not pressure guys. They're not pressure guys. They are stop the run guys. That's who they are. They're supposed to be Iron Man, right? They're supposed to be guys that hopefully can last you what's the word? Hopefully they can last you throughout the entirety of the season, right? They're supposed to be Iron Man, right? That's why we brought him. Some people say we overpaid, but that's irrelevant. I don't really, if they perform, that's all I care about. But I fear our D-line. And there's fans out there that are saying things like we shouldn't get Hassan Reddick because ABC, right? We shouldn't address it because we're not ready to compete. Well, here's the thing. I think our offense is ready to compete. And that's another big fear of mine, that our offense is going to be really, really good. And I'm not saying top 5, right? I'm saying we're able to move the darn ball and we're able to put 20 plus points a game, but our defense can't stop a lick. That's what I'm worried about, right? That we were so worried about year 2 of the rebuild that we're not addressing really, really big needs. And that's the pass rush. I guess mainly the pass rush. That's what I fear, is that this offense is going to be, oh, hey, we're ready to go. right? We're scoring points, but we just can't cause pressure. So it makes every quarterback we have surgical. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Week 3 in preseason, it was really hard to watch. Not Mac Wilson. What's his name? Zach Wilson. Man looked like Tom Brady out there. Granted, none of our starters played. It's just a little bit of PTSD. I do not want to see that. I do not want to see that this year at all. Jonathan Gannon says he has faith in the guys we have currently right now. Now time to prove it. Put Josh Allen on the ground. Have him fear snapping that ball because the pressure is that darn good. Now it's time to put the money where their mouth is, right? Because it's going to be very, very important. Very, very important. What's up, Brandon? Brandon says, I think Bunting is solid, to be honest, and at least he's showing up unlike Butler. Facts. So let's do this. I feel like this is appropriate here. Shots fired, ladies and gentlemen. Shots fired. I mean, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right.
Got him!
That's the truth. That's the truth. At least she showed up. Man, that was such a weird thing to go through as Cardinal fans. You remember that? Such a weird thing. One of the biggest guys that we got in free agency, Malcolm Butler, and this man just decided to just dip. He was like, I'm going to retire after all. Peace out. Yeah, that was rough. You're right. Here's the thing. Any cornerback can look better if you have a solid D-line. Let's just put it that way. Any cornerback can look better if you have a solid D-line. And I'm not saying our defensive line is bad. I'm not saying that. I just need to see it. I need to see consistent pressure amongst these guys. Zaven Collins, what do you guys think he can accomplish? Truly. Let me know in the chat. What do you think Zaven Collins can accomplish this year? Do you think he can accomplish 5 sacks? Right now, if I were to tell you to put a bet with your own hard-earned money, right now, if I told you, would you put a bet on Zaven Collins going over 7 sacks this year? Would you put your hard-earned money to do so? That's the question. Do you think Zaven Collins can accomplish more than 7 sacks? Your hard-earned money. Do you think he can? Dennis Gardick. Do you think he could accomplish 9+ sacks, right? Those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. And honestly, I hope so too. Sir Dino here says, I hope so too. This is year 2 of Zaven Collins transitioning full-time into edge outside guy, right? Zaven Collins, 2nd year, full-time. I'm not saying he did 2 games in the year. No, I'm saying full-time. And 2nd year with Nick Rallis. So I'm hoping he takes the next step. Absolutely. I absolutely hope he takes the next step, because if he does good, then we do good. Julio here says Collins has no pass rush moves whatsoever. I mean, one thing that Collins has going for him is the fact that he's such a big guy, right? He's got the explosive. One of the biggest things as to why people were so excited about Zaven Collins when we drafted him is that he's got such a big frame / body that he was able to move to the left to the right really fluently, right? Now, we didn't really see that translate to the NFL. That was probably good in college, but NFL is faster, right? And it's a different game. We're hoping that can be the case where the Cardinals are actually saying, whoa, Zaven Collins, right? A sack. Because we're looking for a sack. We're looking for a sack maybe every other game from Zaven Collins. There's 17 games. There's no way in heck that Zaven Collins is going to get 17 sacks, right? There's no 1 sack per game for Zaven. If he can get 1 sack every 3 games, that's kind of what we're, I guess, expecting, unfortunately. If he gives us more, then dang, that would be great. Dennis Gardick is going to be a swing dude, at least for me. I think that's the way that they're going to play it. He's going to be used as a swing guy. I think he's going to be the primary edge 2 guy, but you're going to be seeing a rotation of Demikeji, Jesse Luketa, right? Xavier Thomas, rookie, right? I think that's what it's going to be when it comes down to that Dennis Garlick. Now, obviously, Zayvon Collins is going to get off the field too. We're going to see, but I do think Zayvon Collins is probably going to be the main edge rusher, and that scares me a little bit. That scares me a little bit. K1 says, David KG was terrible this preseason. In my opinion, he should have been cut. That's a good question. That's a good state. That's fair. That's why I was very confused and head scratching as to why we traded away Cam Thomas. They had 3 sacks. I don't get it. I don't think I ever will get it. People can say whatever they want, but on paper, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all. Agent 47 says, we don't have a guy with 10 plus sacks, and that's the problem, right? That's the problem. Is that what if the Cardinals offense is ready to go, right? What if? Now, if they're not, then we're having a different conversation, right? We're having a different conversation. But what if this offense is ready to go? And our defense is holding us back. It's one of those things you got to think about over and over again and over again, because, you know, you can rebuild in a year, right? I mean, Cardinals probably can't, but you can rebuild in a year. We've seen it before. We've seen people go from first to last, from year one to the next year. We've seen it. We've seen it before. It's just we don't have the luck like that. We don't have that luck. Did you guys see the suites, the pictures of the suites for the Arizona Cardinals? Who's gonna go to those suites? Let me ask you that. Who's gonna pay tickets to go to these suites here for the Arizona Cardinals? Let me ask you that question real quick, because there was just a post out there, and of course I'm gonna go ahead and reference some guy here from Twitter, Dove Kleiman, and I know some people don't like him, but look at these things, man. Let me take this graphic out. I apologize. Look at these things. Arizona Cardinals unveil their new field level luxury casitas. You're telling me that somebody's going to be paying $27,000 to $40.5 thousand, of $40,500 per game. Now, granted, yes, it's 20 tickets. You can split it amongst your family, 10 parking passes, food. That's a lot of quiche there. That's a lot of quiche there, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, they do look sweet, though. But you got TVs in there. Like, are you really expecting to have the experience of being in game day when you have TVs there? I don't know. I'm not. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like we're kind of focusing on the wrong things. That's what I feel like. I feel like we're focusing on the wrong things. But it's been a big problem that we've been talking about with Michael Bidwell at the helm. I know he's not the richest owner out there. And bless his heart for being here in Arizona, because I don't know what we would do without no football team. Candy burrito and a casita. Yeah, sounds like diabetes under a roof. That's what it sounds like to me. Here we go. We got Chef Boy. What's up, Chef Boy? It's been a while since I see you. Appreciate you for joining the stream. He says, we'll be getting more coverage sacks than anything. Maybe a couple speed rushing sacks, but our CBs will help out our outside linebackers a lot. I mean, this is the first take that I actually seen somebody have a lot of confidence in the running and the cornerbacks. That's awesome. I'm glad you have a lot of confidence in the cornerbacks. I hope so too. I hope you're right. I really do. I really hope you're right. Right now, obviously, Sean Murphy-Bunting being CB1 for the Cardinals, right? Next, Max Melton, or actually Garrett Williams first, year 2 guy, and then we got rookie in Max Melton. I don't know. I just feel like we're leaning a lot on a lot of young players. That it's going to be so easy to say, well, it's the learning curve, right? Oh, they got to learn. I feel like we're just so badly leaning on a lot of young players that there is multiple ways of rebuilding. For the people out there saying that the Arizona Cardinals right now are rebuilding because this is year 2 and we shouldn't do any moves, I don't get that fully. I don't get it. I really don't. Cardinals have $30 million. You're adding players to this organization for a reason, right? Even if they're people off the streets, even if they're people picking them off practice squads, you're obviously bringing people in for a reason, right? We just brought in Julian Aquara, former Lion. We just brought him. So, I mean, you obviously see that there's a need here. It's just the Cardinals aren't wanting to spend money, right? And who do you attribute that to? I don't know, right? I mean, with what we've seen in the tenure of what we've been Cardinal fans, we like to point the finger at Bidwill, right? But I don't know. Maybe this might be Monty Austinfort's thing. Maybe this is Monty Austinfort just saying, no, I like draft picks so much that I like people on the cheap. I mean, that can only work so much. That can only work so much. I think drafting is key for the future. Obviously, yeah. But you still need free agency to plug in the one or two big holes that you have. You still need to pay people. Free agency is important. You're not going to build your team off of free agency. You're building that off of the draft. But you still need to get people that know how to play football and actually give you production. So, I don't understand it. I get it. It's year 2. But I feel like this offense is going to come out firing in all cylinders. And I think they're probably going to be regretting their decision. Now here, like I said before, if the Cardinals come out here and it goes absolutely sideways, okay. Then you were right, Monty. Then we're having another conversation in the offseason and we're only winning 3 or 4 games. But this team, there's just so much unknown. Do you guys feel the same way? I have more confidence in the offense than the defense, but they're still unknown. They're still unknown. Can Kyler stay healthy? Right? Is this run game going to really work out? Can we see Trey McBride go up the middle and wreak havoc in the middle, right? Are we going to see those boots? Are we going to see those play actions that we didn't see with the last regime? It's just a lot of question marks. Blazin says, how much you want to bet that they don't feed Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball enough? The offense has this tendency to not use its weapons. I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. I really, really hope you're wrong. I'm not sitting here saying the ball needs to go to Marvin Harrison Jr. all the time, right? Because I think we actually have a lot of weapons. I think we have a lot of weapons on this roster. I think Michael Wilson's very underrated. I think Greg Dortch is a guy that a lot of people don't know because he's not a big flashy name, but they'll probably know by the end of the year. I think Trey McBride is probably one of the best up and coming tight ends. James Conner is one of my top running backs in the NFL if he could stay healthy. But Marvin Harrison Jr. should at least get 8+ targets a game. Maybe we want to drop that down to 7. 7 to 8 targets a game is what he should be getting. Call that feeding? Maybe. Yeah, I guess you can call that feeding. But he's wide receiver 1 for a reason, right? He's wide receiver 1 for a reason. Absolutely. I hope you're wrong. I hope we're not sitting here after week 1 and we're talking about the aftermath of week 1 and we're having more questions. Because, man, we know as Cardinal fans, boy, can it get ugly. And it can get ugly fast. We know it. We know it, Cardinal fans. Let's not act like we're so invincible. We know it. It gets ugly, and it gets ugly really, really fast for Cardinal fans. Let's keep it with the comments here. Obviously preparing here for week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills. I did see a comment on here with the comment of the title of the video saying that the Cardinals are fighting a juggernaut in week 1. I think the Buffalo Bills are a very, very good team. I really do, right? Regardless of them losing a lot of weapons on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I still think they're a really good team. And of course, because Josh Allen is the number 1 reason as to why. James Cook is good too. I like James Cook as a running back. Pass out of the backfield or catch out of the backfield, run the ball. He's a really good running back. I think they're a very good team. The juggernaut term comes more from the 3-game stretch that we have just from the start of the season. The Bills, the Rams, the Lions. Man. The football gods came out here and said, yeah, we're going to give you the worst setup we possibly can. The Bills have had Super Bowl aspirations. like they always will, as long as they have Josh Allen. The Rams have beaten us, I don't even know how many times at this point. I had the record here like last year, and I completely threw it away because it hurt my head just looking at it over and over again. But I feel like we beat the Rams once in the last like 4 or 5 years. Maybe 3 or 4, but whatever. And then the Lions, that have their own Super Bowl aspirations. We get a little break with the Commanders, but even the Commanders feel like, listening to what their fan base has to say, that they're puffing their chests out right now too. They're pretty excited about their squad with Jaden Daniels. So, and then after them, it's the 49ers. So we got a tough stretch. We got a tough stretch from the start of the season for the Cardinals. But you want to be a good team. You want to be a good team. These are the teams you got to beat. Right? No more excuses. It's done. Excuses are done. They got to come out here and show out and punch Buffalo in the mouth. And they got to prove that they can compete with other teams in the NFL. Let's continue here with what Jonathan Gannon had to say. If you do not know, Jonathan Gannon was asked multiple different questions earlier this morning in his press conference with, obviously, the media. I feel like there was a lot of great questions asked today, obviously surrounding Buffalo. And then this is one of the first questions asked about, do you think the Arizona Cardinals are the team, or what was the question was, is the Cardinals going to be the team on week 1? And this is wow, I can't even speak. Is this the Arizona Cardinals going to be the team moving forward? Like, are we going to see that Cardinals moving forward? This is what Jonathan Gann had to say.
Believer that week 1 can kind of show you where a team's at.
No, I think it just shows you, did you do enough to win the game or not, I see where you're going with the question, Josh. What I do kind of,
it's a little snippy there, but
believe is, and this, I've gotten this from mentors of mine, like the first, you used to be able to split it up into quarters, now it's not. But if you kind of look at the month of September, I think you got that there is a feeling out and a learning process about your team, and the other 31 teams are doing that as well, because you got new people, whether you played your starters or not, who's having these roles, what does that look like? I don't think we'll know our true identity for a little bit of time, you know what I mean? With saying that, we got to do enough to put ourselves in position to win those 4 games, through the first part of the season there. But there's a growth and a learning that needs to continually happen as you get going on in the season, because it is a long season. And do I know who we are right now going to Buffalo? I have a good idea, but I don't know for sure. You know what I mean? So, and we need to see that play out in front of us, But, every second counts right now, so.
Did you catch that too in the beginning? The way he answered that just in the very, very first 5 seconds. I feel like he got a little spite, and then he corrected himself, and he was like, okay, let me explain. But I feel like he got a little spicy too. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I feel like he did too. But anyways, am I a little concerned? Maybe a little bit. In terms of the identity, right? Identity, just like chemistry, is something that we talked about so much on this channel. And it's one of those things that it's never going to get a rightful recognition unless you hear Kyler Murray say it, right? Because when Kyler Murray came out and said, yes, chemistry is very important. That's why we're, throwing every weekend with Michael Wilson. And I call him up and say, you ready to go, right? And everybody's like, oh yeah, chemistry is a big deal, right? And that's exactly what I've been saying for the last year or two. The fact that it's very important for you to get off the field out of these games and build this chemistry down, because a slant route to Michael Wilson is different to a slant route with Marvin Harrison Jr. and, of course, to Greg Dortz. They're different body types, they're different ranges. You're going to need to get that chemistry and build it down pat, right? And I'm glad Kyler Murray said it and actually shined some light on it, because now people are starting to understand that, yes, although they're all professional athletes, they still need to get on the same page, regardless. If this is Justin Jefferson, right? If this is prime DeAndre Hopkins, you still need to get chemistry down with your quarterback. So is it a little worrisome that we don't have an identity yet, right? And that we're not going to have an identity until maybe later on in the season, or maybe we find our identity in this year or this game? I mean, it's a little worrisome. I mean, Jonathan Gannon did say he's got a good idea. So, I mean, at least he's acknowledging it. At least he's acknowledging the thought of, hey, like, we need to figure out what's going on. Because one thing I've talked about all the time when in the last year of the last regime is we don't have an identity. Identity was just throw the ball to D-Hop, right? Even if he wasn't open, I felt like that was the identity. And that's not a good identity to have at all. You need to have identity with the offense, whether that's a run-heavy type of offense. You get that run game going. You can bootleg. You can play action. You can do all these different types of things you can do. You need an identity on the offense as well as the defense. Are you a blitzing type of defense? Are you a defense that's going to be playing two coverage? Are you a defense that plays man? Do you press? What do you do good? What is it that your team and your players excel at? It's a little troubling that he says we don't know, but he's got a good idea. So that gives me a little bit of a light, right? That we got a little bit of an idea. But it also kind of makes me feel a little bit like, oh man, we're kind of winging it again. Now, I trust Jonathan Gannon a little bit more, but like I said before, this year is very telling. I'm not going to be moral victories this year. The only moral victory I will give to the Cardinals is that we play very, very hard against the Buffalo Bills, and we're actually in that game. If we get demolished, there is no moral victories from me. I give 1 week mulligan to the Cardinals, and that is going to be week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills. I want to be in every single one of these games. Even if we lose, I want to be in every single one of these games. Rams, I want to be in that Ram. I'm sick of losing to the Rams and getting demolished by the Rams year in and year out. I'm tired of it. Figure out the identity, and let's work on that because it's important. Jonathan Gannon has a good glimpse of what we can potentially be. Okay, cool. That's a good stepping stone. I love it. Build off it. It's important. RV Davey says, we're a 5-4 team. Sheesh. Okay, we're not even going to. Let's go to Fishbowl. What's up, Fishbowl? He says, let's be honest, our identity is 4-3, and JG doesn't want to admit he can't change it. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, you might be right. When you're talking about the outside looking in, I mean, that's fair. Every Tuesday, I'm on a live stream with all our NFC West compadres, I guess you want to call them. Correspondent, whatever you want to call them. I'm calling them compadres because I love that. I love that word right now. Rams, 49ers, Seahawks. They all feel the same thing about the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 2 years away, not including this year. They're doing good things. They're the little brothers, the little redheaded stepchild that try. They try their hardest, but they never can do it. I'm done. I'm done. Run the ball down their throat. Let Kyler Murray do some play action craziness. Let him run with his legs. Let him loose. And then let James Conner eat. That should be our identity. Throw the darn ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. because our run game is definitely going to open up a lot of things. Absolutely. What's up, Noah Skip? He says, I see it as an advantage if we don't know our identity. It will keep other teams guessing. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. And that's what I said a little earlier. Is this a indication of maybe him lying to the media a little bit? Maybe, right? Maybe. That's what's putting me a little at ease. Even the fact that he just said, the fact that he came out and said, you know, I have a good idea, but we don't 100% know. Yeah, this might be a good smokescreen tactic. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. That might be it. We might come out here and be guns a-blazing and be one of the best offenses we could have seen in a very long time. Yeah, you might be right. But we're so close, ladies and gentlemen. So darn close. So close to get there. I just cannot wait for the Arizona Cardinals to strap it up week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills. We will be closing up shop here soon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Everybody for being involved in the chat. I absolutely appreciate every one of you guys being here. If you guys haven't done so already, do me a huge favor. Smack up the like button. We got over 70 people here on the YouTube side, an accumulation of over 120 people with X and Twitter /YouTube. If you're watching on X and Twitter and you like this type of content, move on over to the YouTube side because that's the only way that you can actually watch this on a playback, because after it gets streamed and the live is done, it gets deleted and you got to watch it back on the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Huge shout out here to the sponsor of the video, BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sportsbook, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, they do got a promotion, 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. Link will be in the description below, and it will also be pinned on the comments if you're watching this on a playback as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all for tuning in. As always, we're going to be closing up shop. Thank you so very much. We are so close to getting there. The promised land. Cannot wait. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cards.